I'm Calvin Austin III, wide receiver for the University of Memphis.
It's Anthony Sane for Sports 66 Mornings.
This is Rodney Williams, tight end for the Denver Broncos.
This is Tommy Hayes.
This is EJ Manuel, and you're listening to No Cap Sports.
With No Cap Sports.
And the No Cap Sports.
No Cap Sports, three of the hardest grinding brothers in the business.
Welcome back. Another episode of No Cap Sports, man. And I want to start this episode off, man, with a moment of silence, man. Everybody go to the fridge, get you that gallon of Tropicana, Minute Maid, whatever kind of orange juice you got in there, man, and pour one out. But yeah, man, RP to the juice, man. One of the greatest running backs. Obviously some controversy, but gotta pour one out for the juice, man. But anyway, we're gonna get this episode started in a way we haven't done in a little minute. Some big rap names have stepped in the octagon and have started to duke it out. So we got to talk about it. Future and Metro versus Drake. Really the whole rap game versus Drake right now. So Josh, I'm going to let you take it away from here, man.
Thank you, brother. It's crazy how a nigga put controversy on a double murder, but that's crazy. You know, I say the glove didn't fit, brother. He black. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to be black, but he black. You know what I'm saying? But like Nick said, OJ did not drop no tracks. Although OJ Simpson track would have been crazy. I would have loved to hear that 16. Yeah, like you said, it's really like Aubrey mentioned it in rhymes. It's almost like a 20v1. There's a lot of top tier, A tier guys in the rap game right now coming at Drake. You got mainly his started with Metro and Future's album, We Don't Trust You. Got a song on the I can't even think of the name of the song.
Like that.
Thank you. You got Kendrick and Future actually on his own track, kind of going at Drake. Kendrick on Like That, really doing some poignant stuff at Drake. And you got to give credit, man, to the light-skinned brethren. He came back, in my opinion, more direct than Kendrick did. Kendrick never said Drake's name in his diss, and on Drake's diss is not even titled. It's not even on DSPs yet. He said Dot multiple times. But he does a lot of people. He does Metro, shut your whole ass up, go be on the drums, nigga. Threw a little shot at Ja Morant. I'm like, what the hell did Ja do? But got probably a little weekend stuff, you know what I'm saying? Addressed J. Cole. But it was really aimed at Kendrick Lamar. I feel like the song was. But the person that responded was the biggest boss, Rick Ross, Miami correctional officer at one point. He responded with a very scathing record. Like, that's definitely the most direct, disrespectful record of this whole debacle that niggas talking about. So we got all that. TJ, I'll just throw it to you in terms of your opinion, music-wise. What was your favorite track to listen to? From my perspective, we're not including J. Cole. J. Cole bowed out. He said he don't want to part of it, so we're not gonna judge him. 7 minute nigga, get out of here.
I mean, we didn't respect J.
Brother,
Cole.
this ain't your segment.
Anyway.
Brother, this ain't your
J. Cole.
I won't say that. I won't go that far. We respect him, but not in this. Not right now. That you in timeout, brother. You on probation right now, 90 days type shit. So TJ, what do you think was the most effective diss out of the 3 songs we're working with right now? And which is your favorite song?
I feel like you said, Drake went the hardest. For me, like, when I see people diss Drake like that, it kind of feels like, if y'all remember when like everyone was making those like top 10 players of all time and all those legends were leaving out LeBron, it's like obvious they trying to get his attention, trying to get like a rise out of him, but he won't. I think it's almost kind of weird when they do things like this. Is like, when you talk about Drake is he's put on so many of these artists, these guys, like he's known as like the one that, even if you in a different type of demographic group, that everybody mess with. So why, is he always in these beefs? There's always somebody that comes along that really doesn't like him. Most people love him. But I think, when you saw the video of him coming out Carbone with the headphones in, the little old iPhone headphones, and he was like, oh, bad. It's kind of like he was at dinner and he was like, oh, okay, this is where they won't take it. And then it's like he took it right to the studio. He dropping names. I feel like there's a hierarchy, and like he kind of had to set it straight. I think a lot of these dudes just want clout. Like I said earlier, when is the last time you heard someone say, hey, man, cut that Rick Ross on. Hey, man, cut that Kendrick on. I love J. Cole. I know everyone doesn't. I've always loved J. Cole, but I ain't never heard someone say, unless they doing homework. Yeah, man, cut that cold on. Like,
that's crazy. Why you put the studious rap on that mind like that?
No, they cooked me because I remember Nick was talking about it. He said, man, that's him and people like, man, that's homework music. I was like, you know what? I get it. I love it.
That's
but I
big
won't never put
backpack
that
kid
on.
energy for sure. For sure
That's I won't put that on in front of somebody, but I'll bump it. I just think that was very messy of them. Drake doesn't do anything but, you know, he has his little debacles with women and whatever, but I think he's a very positive figure in rap. Like, what person can say they haven't benefited from him? He's done things for everybody in this industry. I won't go as far to say he made some of these people, but if you name half of these artists' biggest song, you're gonna say featuring Drake, and that goes for any of them. Rick Ross, Future, Kendrick. You not gonna name any of their top 5 songs and not gonna say where you at. Poetic Justice, Effing Problems, all that stuff, all them classics. That's all from Drake. I feel like they're, in essence, biting the hand that feeds them. If that's how they want to play it, then that's where we can take it.
Man, you know, great astute observation, brother. You feel what I'm saying? The only thing I'll say in response to what you said, I'm firmly in I don't like Drake as a person and the way he moves, but I like his music. Just because I think those debacles with women, you feel what I'm saying? Everybody in this situation has a lot more money than we got. So thinking logically, there will be no reason to beef over women, especially allegedly women of the night, that this kind of thing is over. That's kind of crazy in my opinion. But you know, from my perspective, it got to be something that he's really foul that he's doing or continuing to do to draw the ire of this amount of people that got to give a damn about another woman, or, you know, they got bigger problems to deal with, or they just don't have to worry about the acquisition of a woman or companionship. It ain't the first thing on their mind. So I would not put it past that Drake is the world's dirtiest Mac, and if that's the truth, that's the case, then you got to get what's coming to you. So but no, I gotta respect him for not pulling the J. Cole, getting back in the ring, being very poignant. But we gotta let that Rick Ross shit sit for a minute, because he killed him. That white boy shit is crazy. You gotta stop hating, bro, on that man, because he, like TJ said, you ain't gonna go through nobody. You ain't gonna do Kendrick's catalog without saying Poetic Justice or Diced Pineapples, or so. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got skinny. He got skinny y'all game.
Four niggas and you bring up Diced Pineapple.
I'm just saying, I was down because it's got brother. Okay, whatever. But now, like, you know, we'll see. I'm excited. CDQ is back. DJ Woo Kid is back. DJ Academics and Joe Budden getting together since the first time since Everyday Struggle. They're trying to bring that back. So I'm glad that real hip hop beef is back, bro. It's a sport. I don't think nobody would lose their life over this beef. Y'all get in there, talk shit about each other. You know, talk about each other, baby mamas or girls. Don't let them get too personal, you know. But bro. Competition is good for the game, and that's what we're seeing right now. So I'm really rocking with it. And you know, we talk about Kendrick all the time as like this figure of like he's unquestioned in terms of respect and loyalty, what he'll do. Or you got the diss track that's been low for 4 years. Drake went at your top, and Rick Ross responded for you. So Kendrick still has a major shot left in terms of somebody he needs to be respond that he needs to be dropping. So I'm interested to see that.
Nigga, your nose fake, your stomach fake. You don't write raps. Your biggest homies in foreclosure. Come on, man. Go buy all them niggas that's living with each other a big mansion and put the BBL Drizzy logo on the gates, man. Feed them niggas, man. Come on, man.
Moving this on to the NBA. I don't know if y'all saw a Daylight tweet, one of Kendrick Lamar's associates, but he said, pray for Canada. But now moving forwards, we got to talk about the NBA, end of the season this year, and some Canadian guy is trying to be the face of the league. So I got to ask y'all, who is going to be this new face of the league as we see so many young faces making their debuts into the playoffs, so many young faces starting to rise? Who's the next face of this league, man?
I'm gonna jump in here first, because there's a lot of worthy candidates. Y'all probably mentioned them: SGA, Luka, Ja. If he ever sit his bitch ass down, you know.
He's finna go slide on Drake, so
pause. Oh no, dead ass. You're not lying though. But for me, the main guy, we talk about face of the leagues. It's only one guy in the league right now that people are consistently pairing to a top 2 player of all time, because we know Bron is first. That's Anthony Edwards, Michael Anthony Edwards.
Oh my god.
So he talking about like he's already got Minnesota as a
nigga.
Top
You need some lube, bro. Just Ant Edwards. The face
Hey.
of the league.
You act like
This
I
is
was the first
crazy.
person to say this. Like you act like I invented this. I'm just
Let
taking
him
what the white
finish,
man
let him
said.
finish.
Thank you, brother. I'm saying like it's just people don't like Luka, SGA, like these are worthy candidates. One of them two probably will get the MVP this year if it's not Jokic. But in terms of what you talking about the face of the league, a lot of that is about popularity, transcending the game. You know, and Anthony Edwards is already doing that in a place where, like, nigga, have any of y'all ever visited Minnesota for vacation? Like, he's already popping in a non-popping place with a 2 in Karl-Anthony Towns that realistically everybody hates and is warning because he's a hoe.
Rudy Gobert too.
Exactly. So I'm saying the town he's in and the teammate. Whoa. Oh God, yeah, dumbass Frenchman. The town he's in and the teammates he has are literally, you would think the exact opposite of somebody that would be building a brand that he's building. So I'm thinking, you know, I'd imagine that a young black nigga from Atlanta doesn't want to spend his entire professional career in Minnesota. So I'm imagining that Minnesota will have to throw like half a B at him to stay, or he'll gonna leave, and he may just leave regardless. So I just think that his brand may take off, wherever the next spot he's at, or even as his play continue to evaluate, he gets an MVP, he gets a signature playoff win in a series, something like that. So from my perspective, he may not be the best player. I think probably Luka is definitively pretty better than him right now, honestly. But that would be my person.
Bro, everything you just said, Ja already did that, bro. So your point is void.
Well,
anyway,
Ja also and Edwards don't be having guns on Instagram Live. So
in the video,
he the real killer. Ja, everything he did was,
brother,
paraphrase.
Hey, brother, cut his mic. This like around the horn. Cut his mic.
We know for a fact.
He going crazy.
We know how Anthony get down, bro. He do got some nice shoes though for it to be Adidas. I will give him that. But the face
those
of
the
the
ones that
league,
DJ Burns, what's the future offensive tackle? What was the NC State nigga? I think he was wearing them hoes.
yeah.
DJ Burns, he was wearing them.
Adidas school.
We don't think about it like this, but Jordan's got popping because Jordan was the coldest nigga. He was wearing them in big games. And all it takes is for one moment to happen in them shoes, and they gonna take off. Because it ain't a lot of shoes out there niggas ain't really just signature line right now that niggas really rocking with. The last big one I think was like Kyrie.
I mean, Anthony Edwards definitely had the best rollout of any recent signature sneaker next to Ja, I think. Because obviously with Nike behind you, you can't lose. But his rollout from the interview with Funny Marco to just all the ads and stuff Adidas was doing, plus his play on the court, I can understand your point in saying that.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, yes, but no. I just say no just because there's so many guards that's going to be in competition with him, and I don't think he's just going to be heads and shoulders above everybody else when you think about Ja. Even Jalen Green, he came on the last 25 games of this past season with Houston. They might have a better team than Minnesota when it's all said and done during their careers. But for me, the face of the league, it's an easy one. It comes down to two guys in Texas. But I'm going to go with Victor Wembanyama.
I knew it.
21 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists as a center, and 4 blocks, bro. 3.5 blocks, if you want to be technical. You can raise your hand. Let's hear. What do you have to say?
I mean, I don't disagree. All I'm saying is, when has the face of the league, of the NBA, ever been a non-American?
It is right now. It's been that way for a little minute.
Do you think Jokic's the face of the league? Face of the league and best player.
I mean, Giannis and Jokic have been very near that atmosphere.
Okay, that's all. That was my only question.
Even Embiid, not even American, bro. So if you want to go there, if you look at the NBA top 10, look, ESPN list, half of them weren't even American, bro. So at this point, the league is going in a different direction, bro. And Wemby, he's literally, you've never seen anything. You talked about transcendent. I've never seen anybody like Wemby, and I don't think we ever will again, bro. He's 7'4", maybe 7'5", and he's moving like a snake out there, bro. He's a rookie, 21-10. He's only gonna get better. You can't guard him. So I think he's the face of the league for sure. Y'all saw what he did with the ad that Nike just gave him during the Eclipse, bro. He's about to start cooking. Yeah, facts.
Hey, that AI shoe was crazy too, bro. But TJ, who you got for the face of the league?
I have a question. Is Ja a redeemable face of the league? I know Vance talked about it, and I know, I think he should. I think he's deserving, but it just seems like once he became must-see TV, they were like, it doesn't even need to be the pound-for-pound best player. He is probably the most must-see TV when that guy comes up the court, you can be a fan of any other team. You're waiting for him to dunk from the free throw line, 360 layup, out of bounds over the top of the backboard, buzzer beater, back flip trampoline dunk, 360 lob pass. Really, like when he comes up the court, you can be the biggest Lakers fan on earth, biggest Celtics fan on earth. When he has that ball in his hand, regardless of what goes, I think everybody's like, all right, what is he about to do? The same way Vance was talking about Wemby. We saw the clip where I get the Grizzlies are beat up. They in a 3-on-1 break, and they're like, oh, damn, here, you take it. You take it. They don't even want to go near him. You brought up a good point. If that was Ja, he would have dunked. He would have punched on him. He would have punched on him. I think if he has redeeming qualities, I think you can just look at the fact that his punishment wasn't that big. I think it's indicative of what they want him to be. I think they gave him ample chances. I think they're going to keep giving him chances. I think if he has redeemable qualities, just from in terms of talent and must-see TV, which is your league's face, Bron, you're waiting for him to make a crazy pass. You're waiting for him to 360 dunk, tomahawk. We don't care if LeBron dropped 50. If LeBron had the craziest plays in the game, only dropped 22, you'd still watch him every night. We don't need 40-point triple-doubles and 30 assists per night. We want to see must-see TV. Wemby's not dropping 30 every night. He's making 8, 9 crazy plays, and that's enough. He might not ever get to 30. He might stay at 21, 22, but he's going to block 10 shots. People won't even want to go in the lane. I think if Ja has any redeeming qualities, that's who I would pick.
No, definitely. If I had a pick, I would definitely pick Ja. But I just don't know if the league is gonna allow him to get back to that high pedestal he was once on. Like you said, he has every trait. He relates to the culture. He's everything you want in an NBA superstar. And I hope he puts it all together. But in all seriousness, my next face of the league is Luka Doncic, bro. Simple as this. Just like TJ said about Ja, and just like y'all have said about all the players y'all have named, he's must watch TV, bro. Any night you turn on a Dallas game, there's a chance that man scores 60 points, bro, with a triple-double to go with it. You talk about like that 2016 Russ when he averaged a triple-double for a whole season. That's Luka, but in a more skilled, less helmet-wearing way, bro. So if you ask me, the next face of this league is Luka Doncic, and I think he has a lot to prove in his playoffs to really cement himself as such.
Into response, nobody says Shea. So what is that indicative of how we feel about Shea as a group?
Don't piss me off, bro.
Bro, you can't.
Brother, he gonna finish top 3 MVP. James Harden did it.
James Harden made it look sexy though.
Yeah, Shea.
James Harden hoops like Luka, bro. And so for Luka to be the face of the league, bro, that's really like appropriation, bro. It's really kind of like,
bro, Harden,
like,
in my opinion,
that's
Harden had a
international
stretch where he was like,
yeah,
what, top 3 in my opinion in the league. Like them years in Houston, bro, that was special.
You had to tune in.
He had a week of averaging like 50 points one day.
But also to TJ's point, it's just like Ja is redeemable. Like first game back, what buzzer beater versus the Pills. His last game against the Lakers, bro. Everybody was watching it, bro. Like it was an incredible game. The Grizzlies, we thought they were back gonna make the playoffs, and for that to happen, it sucked. But it's almost like, was Allen Iverson ever the face of the league, or was he just like, he was a cultural face. So I think he'll be something like more like an Allen Iverson instead of like, the NBA just gonna be pushing him like crazy, but everybody's gonna love him. With social media now, bro, it's just like you never know who's gonna be the face. It could be anybody, whoever. Just like TJ also said, whoever was making that eye popping plays, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not
Paolo one day. You never know.
Nah, it could be shit.
Yeah, I just want to appreciate that nobody said Jason Tatum or even brought his name up. So thank you.
I wanted to.
Me too. I wanted to, but it's like I couldn't even make the case, bro.
He's not even the coolest dude on his own team.
The nigga just go out and score 27 a night. Like he don't do shit else, bro. He just get 27 a night, bro.
Bro,
he loves his son too.
He can't be the face of the league because of that meme. Every time they put up with him, or they put up with a nigga that look like him on TikTok when he spin the ball in his hand. That's just, it looked too much. It really like TJ a little bit, but it just looked too much like him. He's really too memeable, honestly. He's just way like, it's too easy to make fun of him to be the face of the league. Hell no. That'd be like KD.
Because he's not rah-rah. He won't like defend himself.
Exactly.
He's not.
Well,
like,
I'm
Like
not
he'll
gonna
be
lie,
getting
bro.
cooked, just straight getting cooked.
He had that one moment last year.
Yeah, he'll
I
just
want to
sit
say it
down.
was in the Philly series where he was like,
Yeah,
humbly, I'm
game
one of the
6.
yeah. He's like, humbly, I'm one of the best players on this planet or something. I was like, uh-oh, here comes the arc where he like becomes the face of the league. It didn't happen, but
Yeah.
oh well.
Yeah, bro. He had 5 minutes to save his career, bro, and he saved it.
I'm one of the best basketball players in the world. You know, go through struggles, go through slumps. It's a long game.
Moving on, we've talked about a lot of guys who could potentially enter their name to become the next face of the league. A lot of our question could be answered with these upcoming NBA awards. So let's start off with a big one, the MVP award. Who takes that home this year?
I'll say I'll
Anthony
give two
Edwards.
answers.
I dare you to say it.
Excuse you, brother. You need to relax. That would be a great choice.
Oh my god.
But nah, I think Jokic will probably get it, but SGA may deserve it. One seed in the West with no other All-Star teammates, 30 a night. He probably deserves it. I mean, Jokic may be better, but nigga, vote of a team. I want to vote for a white man, 3-time MVP. Like, come on, bro, relax. Because even this for me, that puts him in a tier of players that I don't like. He gets 3 MVPs out of 4 years.
He deserves it, bro.
Bro, that you're saying he's top 5 of all time right there, essentially. And I'm not ready to say that about Nikola Jokic.
I mean, listen, bro.
Nah. So
He gets down. He don't play, bro.
Jokic probably will get it. I think SGA probably deserves a little bit more, or Luka.
Man, just named every MVP.
Okay.
But I will
Hey,
say,
boy, y'all ain't shit.
I will come in here and say, Shea does not deserve the MVP, bro. There's one player that stands above everybody this year, both historically and with his play on the court, and that's Luka Doncic, bro. I brought up the Russell Westbrook triple-double numbers from, I want to say 2016, 2017, something like that, when he won the MVP. His team was 8th in the West. Luka Doncic is damn near averaging a triple-double with 33.9 points, which is first in the league, by the way, the youngest player to lead the league in scoring since Kevin Durant, 9.2 rebounds, and 9.8 assists. If he wins the MVP, that would be the second highest total PRA since Kareem won it in 1972. No other player in the league is even touching.
Ooh, look at this nigga. He know advanced stats. Ooh.
I mean, the numbers don't lie, bro. Y'all gave Russell Westbrook a MVP for averaging a triple-double 14. That was 8th in the West. Luka Doncic is damn near averaging a triple-double with Kareem numbers. With
Russell Westbrook is black
in the West. Luka Doncic doesn't have to wear a fucking football helmet every time he play basketball because he's crashing at the fucking ground. Luka Doncic make it look good and do more than just drive, tell everybody get the fuck out the paint so he can grab rebounds and pad his stats. Luka Doncic is playing winning basketball. The Mavs have turned their season around since the trade deadline, and Luka is the best player on, in my opinion, the hottest and best team in the West right now.
I'd kiss him to the white man in this episode. But go ahead. You got it.
He kind of convinced me, right? I ain't know the PRA was higher than Harden his MVP season. So that is kind of a crazy stat. But you made a good point with Jokic. Like, is he like one of the greatest ever, bro? Like, he might be. I don't want to see one more ring before I'm just like, yes. But in this case, bro, I'm gonna have to rock with Nick. I'm gonna have to go with Luka Doncic and convince me, bro.
Thank you, my brother. Next award we got to give out, Defensive Player of the Year. And TJ, I'm gonna let you start this one, bro. Who you giving this award to?
Y'all already know. The real Frenchman. I gotta give it to Wemby. I saw a stat. He has like more blocks than 82% of the NBA in just this season. You can knock me down a peg if you say he gave up 70 and 50 and 50 here and there. Okay, I get it. He's a rookie, but just the force that he is, I don't think I've ever seen more times where, like, on not just the Grizzlies clip, but any break that they just don't know what you have numbers. You're running in transition, and you just don't know what to do because you see this 7-5 enforcer in the paint. Now, I will say the bigs don't seem to be, Wemby, but I think because he doesn't have that grit yet, because Embiid just kind of went through him. But like that dude, he's a bucket. You can't really do anything with a 7-2 mid-range shooter. Like he'll give anybody 70 if he shoots enough. But I think Wemby's blocking the ball, he's stealing, he's enforcing. If you're coming around him, that ball is not going in. I don't know how that just came off, but if he's in the area, it's coming down. All flights canceled, Iron Dome, missiles getting knocked down, whatever you want to call it. And I think Rudy Gobert is just like I watch a little bit of basketball. They always talk about Rudy. He's a great defensive player. Give him the award. I feel like we're disqualifying Wemby because he's a rookie. If they were both second or third year players and you looked at the numbers, I feel like he'd get a better shot. I just think using my eyes and not even just saying, oh, he's got this many blocks. I just think he's a better enforcer than Rudy Gobert has been this year. So I give it to Wemby.
Say no more. I ain't gonna lie, you had me a little scared, twin. I thought you was finna say Herb Jones. But what y'all got to say, bro?
I'm not one of them Pels fans, bro. You don't got to worry.
Bro, the correct answer is Victor Wembanyama. But listen, if he doesn't get it this year, bro, he's gonna get it the next 10 years. So listen, go ahead and give it to Rudy Gobert. You know, this gonna be his last one. You know, he can have it for his Hall of Fame resume because Wemby's gonna get it for the rest of his career, bro. So the correct answer is Wembanyama. But I think they're gonna give it to Gobert for Minnesota having a historically great defense. He's the leader of that defense, so they're gonna give it to Gobert. But the correct answer is Wembanyama.
Everything Van said, I'm gonna agree with, just because, like you said, I think Wemby is the better defensive player, more impactful, more versatile. Just not only the historically great Minnesota defense, but even San Antonio's defense is still like bottom 10, I think, in the league with Wemby. And I don't feel great about voting for a guy that's anchoring a bottom 10 defense.
So we got two Frenchmen in the running for DPOY. Last player award we're gonna hand out. Sixth man of the year. The Jamal Crawford Award. Who are y'all giving it to, bro? We had a lot of hoopers come off the bench this year.
I think Norman Powell might be due for one. I think that he's a guy that, you know, before Russ became a guy consistent on the bench, he was averaging 20 off the bench. And he's been doing it for a couple of years now. And the on-off splits, I've looked at them, are pretty, like, apparent, at least offensively, with him on versus off. And that's not a team that doesn't lack in offensive firepower. Because Monk, I think, would have been there. I don't know if he can even qualify because of the 65 games.
He played 72.
Okay. So that he probably may still get it, but I think Norman Powell, because he's been consistently good for a couple of years now on a team that's been a perennial playoff team, I think that he might be he would be my pick.
I like that pick, but I'm gonna have to rock with Malik Monk. We've seen how the Kings have fell off. They were in the playoffs the entire season. He's missed these last 10 or so games, bro, and literally they are in the play-in now. Their season ends literally this week. So that sucks. He averaged 15 points off the bench, leading the team in points off the bench. He's added in 5 assists. That's playmaking for them. Added in 3 rebounds on 35% three-point shooting, bro. And so that's just an element of where now they become one-dimensional. It's literally D-Fox pick and roll. You guys, hey, Harrison Barnes, go stand in that corner, shoot this 3. You better make it or we going to lose. And so now at this point, it's literally they lost playmaking. D-Fox and Sabonis are their only playmakers. That's still a good team, but it's not going to be good enough to do any damage in the playoffs.
And I'm going to throw a third player in there who I think deserves some sixth man of the year love. And to me, that's Bobby Portis, man. He's a guy that comes off the bench for the Bucks, gives him a lot of energy, plays a lot of good minutes. He ugly as hell, but he's coming in.
Boy, you took the words out of my mouth. I'm like, that's an ugly ass nigga. He always gonna look like that Squidward thing the first time I see him. That's an ugly ass young nigga. But
he come out and he provided really good minutes to that Bucks team, especially a team that has struggled defensively. He provides that as well as rebounding, scoring, pretty much everything you want from a bench guy. So I think his name deserves a little love in the sixth man of the year conversation, as well as Naz Reid. But I really like the Malik Monk pick, end all be all. But last award we're gonna give out, the anti-Doc Rivers Award. Who is y'all's coach of the year?
I hate black people. I hate black people so fucking much.
We don't say Doc, we say Glenn Rivers. He's not a Doc of anything. It's Glenn.
Listen, man. If it was the Doc Rivers Slave Owners Award of the Year,
hey, what the hell?
It would go to Tom Thibodeau, bro. The way he be running them niggas to the dirt in New York.
Hey, this nigga's wild. I can't even be on camera when you say shit like that, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, like you might have just cooked something, bro, because the way Tom Thibodeau be working, I'm pretty sure he got a plantation down in Louisiana somewhere, bro.
No,
I
it's
don't,
insane.
I don't think
bro.
y'all need to be speaking like this.
No, we
As a
saw
fellow nigga. This is getting out of hand.
Bro, he turned OG Anunoby elbow into some fucking barbecue brisket within like a month.
Sweet and sour.
No doubt. No, yeah, he was like 48 minutes. Nigga, that's you. You got
Midway-
that.
midway through the season, Isaiah Harder signed. They were saying his Achilles was about to fall off the bone. All of a sudden, he's still playing 40 minutes a game. Like, come on, bro. At some point, you got to be realistic. Yeah, but you know what? I'm gonna have to go with a team that's helped bring this franchise back out of the abyss, and it's Jamal Mosley out of Orlando, bro. Just the fact that they've been so ass for so long, I think you got to reward that.
Yeah. But on a similar note of bringing a team back and bringing them back dominantly, I think this Coach of the Year conversation has to start with Mark Diagonal in OKC. Like somebody said earlier, SGA was the only All-Star. You finished with the best record in the West. Sounds like Coach of the Year to me. And if you really sit down and just watch the Thunder, that's like Leonardo da Vinci painting a defense, bro. That shit is so fucking beautiful, and it works, bro. You think about it, their biggest player is Chet, and he has no girth, no nothing to stand up against a
No Diddy, nigga. What? Hey, brother, you gotta relax,
on, bro.
man.
You knew what
Hey,
I
man,
meant. My
talking about
fault.
that man girth, brother. You got it, though. You got it. That's
You
you.
saw him singing with SGA. What that sound like to you? But anyway, like I was saying, bro, the assortment of talent he has and the way he's made it work, he deserves this Coach of the Year award, in my opinion.
Okay, y'all all threw out some good names, some names I talked about before. Thibodeau will probably be one of my top candidates with the graphic reference that Vance made. Mark Daigneault, obviously, like some of the good points that Nick said. I don't really lean a certain way, I guess, honestly. A name that y'all haven't said, Jamal Mosley. He's third at what is it?
Where the fuck have you been?
Insert. What you mean?
Bro, you just said that.
Oh, for real?
Man, you just said that.
My bad. I'm sorry. Well, Sean, like I said, I think Jamal Mosley could, because y'all know me before the season started. I was big on the Magic. And Franz has not been as good as he probably needed to be this year, and they still were pretty much they still a top 5 seed. So a lot of that, he's a former player too, so that just goes a long way in the way that Daigneault or Tibbs ain't. So and then I even think for Orlando to be where they're at right now, like you look at them, you kind of similar to Memphis, where you would say they're quote unquote ahead of schedule. So I mean that you got to give some credit to the coaching staff. So I think Daigneault probably will win it because of the big thing, like I said and Nick just repeated. SGA, know the All-Stars, best team in the West, young team. I think that's probably deserving, but I think either Tibbs or Jamal Mosley could be another dark horse.
No, it kind of be crazy if they gave Coach of the Year to Adrian Griffin, but I'm not gonna speak on that.
That would be wild, nigga. That would be elite. Actually, David Stern would have did something like that.
And I'm thanking you for knowing exactly what a pro wants, what a pro needs. Whatever makes me happy sets me free.
82 games of NBA action have all come to this. The playoffs are here with a play-in starting tonight. Is Tuesday as we record this. So now I got to ask y'all some playoff questions. And Vance, I'm going to start with you. The matchups have been set. Starting with the West and OKC, we got them facing what will be the 8th seed after the play-in. Then we got Denver playing what will be the winner of the New Orleans, LA, Los Angeles series, Minnesota and Phoenix, and the Clippers and Dallas. So looking at these in the West, which top 4 seed is most likely to get bounced in the first round?
I'm gonna ask you 2 questions real quick, and that's gonna answer your question. There's only been 3 players ever to score 40 points, 15 rebounds, and 10 assists in a playoff game, and only one of them is active, bro. Then there's also been only 3 players to score 40 points and hit a buzzer beater in a playoff game. 2 of them are active, but one of them's in the Western Conference, and that pertains to 1 player for both of those questions. What's the answer?
I'm guessing Luka. It's either Luka or Kyrie, but
it's Luka Doncic. Just for you to even guess Kyrie is even crazy just itself.
I knew he had the 44-pointer in Cleveland, bro. I didn't know if he had a game winner with that.
Nah, bro, but when you put that in perspective, they're playing the Clippers, who, first of all, Kawhi Leonard, I'm telling you right now, he's not going to play. I probably can find some type of graphic or something about his injuries, but I'm not about to go that deep into it. He's not playing. With that being said, when you think about Mavericks versus Clippers, 4 versus 5 is usually the most even matchup. In this case, the Mavericks have the 2 best players in the series. And when it comes down to that, I just don't think the Clippers just have that dog. Playoff P, he's proven me wrong over the past 3 or 4 years. But with that being said, I just like what I see from Kyrie. He's been hooping lately. We all saw that Sunday afternoon game for Dallas where he hit that buzzer beater with his offhand floater. Like that's crazy. Never seen that in my lifetime. With that being said, Luka against the Clippers has already played them twice in the playoff series. This will be a 3rd playoff series. He averages 33.5 points per game, 8.8 rebounds per game, and 9.5 assists per game. Nothing from the Clippers I've seen is scaring me to think that they can beat the Mavericks.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a prayer for Ivica Zubac on that switch, bro. But in the East, we got Boston as the 1 seed playing what will be the 8 seed after the play-in. Then we got New York playing the winner of Philadelphia and Miami. Then we have the Bucks facing the Pacers and the Cavs facing the Magic. So in the East, same question: which top 4 seed is most likely to get bounced?
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet for y'all, man. Giannis, Shams already reported that he's out for the series. He might be back for round 2. They're optimistic for that. The Pacers have played the Bucks 5 times this season. They scored 126 points, 128 points, 126 points, 122 points, 142 points for an average of 129 points per game against the Milwaukee Bucks. And guess what? The Pacers got better and the Bucks got worse throughout this season, bro. Pacers got Pascal Siakam now, and so I don't see that train slowing down anytime soon. The Bucks got worse, and it's gonna be as simple as that. Give me the 3-6 upset.
That's some heat right there, brother. And so now, TJ, I got to come to you. Still talking about these playoff series. Which of these series do you think will be the best opening series?
Damn, Vance stole my exact notes when he just gave the last 5. So I also did. This is a perfect segue. I did Pacers, Milwaukee. I think if you look at history from this season, you got the IST game, you got the Roid Rage 60-point game ball incident. So that's there. I know the aggressor isn't there, but he's a phenomenal defensive player. So I think his absence is going to you're down a rim protector. So I think a team that likes to play fast and they have a good big, I think they can really give it to him this time. So like you said, the last 4 matchups, they're 4-1, 129 per game. We're up into 130s and 140s on each side, high 120. So we're going to get a lot of points. No Giannis. The Pacers are way better. They got rid of some auxiliary pieces, got Siakam, got rid of Brown. Neesmith is back. Nembhard is playing. They lost Matherin, but McConnell has really come on. I think the biggest thing in this series for me is for most of this last decade, I guess, more like 2010s, Milwaukee has been a playoff power. They might not have always go all the way, but they've always been there. Even when they had OJ Mayo and Brandon, they were, they were in there. So I think you're looking at the possible death of a consistent playoff power with Milwaukee and a possible rebirth of a new one. I think if you want to call what Indianapolis has, Indiana has a core, then they're very young. They're relatively healthy. I know Halliburton's up and down, but he's young into his career. He'll get to his prime. Miles Turner, very viable. Siakam, I think they have a championship head coach. Some people forget. I know he was with Dallas, and it's weird to see him with Rick Carlisle. It's weird to see him with the Pacers, but he has won championships. He's had generational players, so he can do right by them. I think, given the history, given the offense, Dame time, garbage time, whatever you want to call him, I think he's getting called to the carpet in this series. He has been awful this season. I don't care about first team this, all-star started this. He has not played well. If this was any other player, we'd be burying him. Too many times I've looked up and Damian Lillard is 9 for 25 the other day, and to secure the 2 seed, he had 10 points, 11 points? Played the whole game. He has been awful this season. They moved heaven and earth to get him. He was supposed to be this missing piece. Okay, Giannis has been relatively healthy in the past few years, but for some reason he has that Kawhi self-timer, and his injury kicked in right before the playoffs. Okay, if he was relatively hurt, he shouldn't have even been on the court in that game. Okay, I think there's a lot more at stake for them. There's way more pressure on them. What happened last year? A lower tier team knocked them off, and guess who was hurt? Giannis. Jimmy Butler and them, there was nothing you could have told Jimmy Butler to tell him he wasn't going to win that playoff series. And I see a lot of that same swag and energy from this Indiana team. So I will also take that upset, but I just like a great series. I like 6 or 7. I just want to see some offense.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, you kind of surprised me. I thought you would have gone Minnesota Phoenix for best series, especially the way Anthony Edwards was talking about Phoenix when Dallas came back and blew them out in Game 7. Because to me, that's my most.
That's a wash.
What do you mean a wash?
That's a 5-game series. Suns at 5.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Oh my.
Oh.
Young bold nigga.
They might lose in 5. That's the crazy thing.
Nah.
Well,
hey, I'm not
somebody's
gonna lie,
going home.
it could literally go either way. Minnie could go home in 5.
Yeah.
Phoenix could go home in 5. Who knows? Grayson Allen might pop out with a 40-point game after earning 70 M.
That would be wild.
I mean,
You
it
think
wouldn't
Anthony
be
Edwards
uncalled for. He'll do it.
That would be pretty
He'll do
crazy.
it. Grayson Allen will pop up for 40 every now and then. It'll
No
happen.
cap. No cap. But last question, I gotta come to you, Josh. Which player, which team, however you want to phrase it, who is under the most pressure this postseason?
So I took this as a player and a team perspective. So talking about an individual player, a lot of guys with some pressure, but I think Harden stuck out to me immediately because now he's in a role where he's not in Houston. Well, he's had a playoff progression, honestly. He's talking about originally in OKC and guy being a young guy off the bench and not having expectations to, getting there with, they put Dwight with him, they put Chris Paul with him, they put Westbrook with him. He was supposed to be that one to be able to take him to the promised land. And, arguably, if you don't have one of the worst stretches of shooting in NBA postseason history, you get there. But now he's Brooklyn, whatever. He's in a spot that a lot of people didn't think would work. It works for him. Shout out to Nick. But now he's in a role where him even being like he should be minimized in a situation where he has a significant drop off because he's really effectively functioning as their point guard, playmaking. Like he hits step back threes, but he gets the ball to Kawhi if he's there and PG and make Zubac a 2010 guy with all the easy dump offs he gets. So I think that if he even fails to be that in the playoffs, then you're looking at a guy like along the Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, like you definitely like do not like speaking in public. So like you are definitively a guy that shrinks in the moment. Because like I said, if James Harden is there, it gives you 10 assists, just stays in front of people, not even stay. Like isn't just a matador on defense and doesn't say something stupid or get in trouble going to the strip club. Like if Kawhi is there, the Clippers can go to the finals out of the West. So I think that he doesn't have high expectations, and him failing to hit a low bar, it would be really damning in terms of like, hey brother, you you don't like any pressure at all. So that's the player. But for the team, I'm gonna go with Boston because we've seen them be at the top for a long time. They made the move. It looks even better now. It seems like they got the better end of the deal with acquiring Drew for Dame, kind of fitting their defensive identity. And then getting KP for Marcus Smart, which the Grizzlies season was a throwaway anyways. But even before that, there had been some slippage from Marcus Smart that makes KP just the way he protects the rim and the way he can stretch defenses, just something that Marcus Smart didn't have. But, you're only going to get so many bites of the apple to be a team that we think is title contenders. Or even, a situation that you're only going to have a certain amount of seasons where Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are going to be top 10 players in the league, top 15, whatever you say. The most talented duo in the league. It's just not going to keep happening. So their championship window has been open quite a while, honestly. We want to go back. Like this nigga Tatum went head up with LeBron as somebody with his sophomore year, third year in the league.
He put him on a poster in the playoffs his rookie year. Took the crown right off of LeBron's head. Said,
Jason Tatum's entire career has essentially been him as a title contender, honestly. So you got to get one. You got to get one at some point. This is the most set up they've been with Drew, with KP. They may run it back because you signed Drew, and I guess you could resign KP depending on what the money looks like. But there's I think it's a lot of pressure on them because, we've legitimately looked at them as title contenders for the past 3 seasons. And how many teams have we looked at like that haven't gotten one? So I think it's a lot of pressure there, internally, externally, just to do that. Because even I think anything short of them getting to the finals, honestly, may be a disappointment.
No, they have to win the finals. You can't get there.
They gotta win.
I mean, as a Celtic fan, I definitely feel like it is time for them to win a finals. To Josh's point, though, I don't think their timeline has been that far extended. This is a team that was way ahead of schedule than they should have been. Looking at when they were in the playoffs with a rookie Jason Tatum, after Kyrie got hurt and the run they went on then, I think this is definitely the year where all of those expectations are there. But in order to win the finals, like we're saying, Boston has to get there first. And there's some other teams in the East playing some good basketball. Looking at Philadelphia, who got Joel Embiid back and who has one of the better records in the league when Joel Embiid plays, to New York, to the Pacers, and all these other teams in the West. But looking at all of these teams, is there anybody in the East who can really challenge Boston and take them down in a 7-game series?
The only team that has a shot or a real chance, in my opinion, is the New York Knicks. And that's just because they play defense and OG is healthy. Well, healthy, I'm going to put that in quotations because you don't know how healthy he is. You see that big brace on his elbow, but I expect him to be playing in
and
the
you already described the coach as a slave master. So that's not a good, that doesn't bode well for his future.
But they do exactly what he tell them to do, so they some good slaves.
Hey, man. There was no need to continue that.
Bro, come on, bro. We 2 months out of February. We good.
Hey, y'all got
Listen,
it. I'm
man,
going off.
Y'all
got it, bro.
Listen, bro. In terms of stats, I believe Brunson can match Jason Tatum, if not be better in a series like that. I believe OG can help. He won't lock down Jaylen Brown, but he'll be able to play good enough defense to keep the team within there. And you got the hard hatters. You got Josh Hart. You got Isaiah Hartenstein. I feel like it could definitely be a closer series than what people think it could be in terms of the Celtics just running through everybody in the East like they have all season.
At least come out the East, it's just themselves. And really Jason Tatum, honestly. Like we said, in any other given year, the best player on the best team would have gotten a mention in the MVP candidate thing. But none of us got it because we all understood that he's still a guy that can be prone to not playing all 48 minutes of the game, being out there, but the Andrew Wiggins disease is what I call it. Being out there, but not really just doing anything. And honestly, we said with the kind of thing where his MVP candidacy went up in smoke versus Denver, Jaylen Brown was the best player in that game. And that's been a consistent theme for them in important games that Jaylen Brown either is the best player or takes the most shots. And that's just, you can't have that as a guy if you're going to be an MVP or even to continue to call yourself the best player on that team. Or like Nick said, want to call yourself one of the best players on the planet. So their identity is to play. They shoot a lot of threes. They get downhill when they need to. And that reflects Jason Tatum. He's one of probably the most gifted slashers, guys that can get to the rack in the league, but he shoots a lot of threes, a lot of mid-range stuff, a lot of pull-up stuff. He doesn't always get the best shot. So that's where there's a difference between him and even Anthony Edwards at a young age, where, Anthony Edwards Jason Tatum, he did on LeBron.
How much money did he send you, bro?
What, bro? I'm just saying.
I ain't gonna lie. Anthony Edwards must have flew you out or something because you all on his meat today.
Crazy.
Sold out dates, man. What concert did you go to? 1031.
This is nasty work because I'm just respecting a black man. But that's all right. Y'all ignorant. But nah, you look at the way that Boston has been up and down with, even they got 65 wins, but they got bad losses too. Like they got a lot of comeback, 20-point blown lead losses too. So their inconsistency is reflected in their best players' inconsistency. And if they're gonna be a team that can run through 4 rounds of playoffs like we think they can, their best player needs to play like the best player on the floor for 4 rounds, and we haven't seen him do that.
But I think the team that's going to challenge Boston the most is the team that they play first. Look at last year. We looked at Atlanta was what, the 9 seed playing team, maybe 8. I think they had to win 2 playing games to get there. Atlanta and Trae Young gave Boston everything they could handle last year. I think, to Josh's point, if you look,
did he?
I don't subscribe to that no Diddy foolishness. It's all Diddy here. Anyway,
what?
If you look at this year, look past the 60 wins and running through everybody. Boston has had some bad losses. They got embarrassed by a Lakerless AD and Bronless Lakers team. That awful blown lead to Cleveland. They lost to Atlanta at the buzzer to DeJounte Murray. Both Denver games were awful. I think that in these past few weeks, whether it be injuries, whether it be coaching, they have not played well. They've played some pretty bad basketball. They played awful versus the Kings. Some of these games they've lost. What are they, 4-7 on TNT? Just awful. They're playing awful nationally televised basketball. I think we were so caught up in, they beat the Warriors by 50 at half and they had all the starters out. I think if you really look past the surface, they have some awful flaws when it comes to last 2 minutes, big game, second half. If that's a good playing team, if it's Miami, if it's Philly, even if it's Atlanta, I think because of what I've seen the last few months and these scrappy teams, they have been susceptible to that. I think whoever gets them first is going to give them the worst they're going to get. I think they don't think that, but if we're looking at recent history, Trae Young hit a 40-foot buzzer beater to take him to game 6, and they struggled in game 6. So it's not like, even when we sit up here and say, they're going to run through the East, well, I think somebody forgot to tell that to Jimmy Butler and to Joel Embiid, because they're like, they are? Well, watch this. I'm going to take Boston to 7. So if it's Atlanta, hell, if by a miracle, if Chicago gets that seed, what's DeRozan and them? They ain't gonna lay down. They just gave the 2 seed everything they could handle with 2 players on the court. So Chicago ain't gonna lay down. In the East, it's always more competitive than the West. Some scrappy, scrawny, ugly-looking team is gonna come in and give a high seed everything they can handle. And from what I've seen, Boston is a team that is most susceptible to getting 7 games from a team like the Hawks or the Bulls. So I think whatever team plays them first is who's going to give it to them the worst.
Yeah, I mean, you just think back to last year, like you said, with that Atlanta series, everybody assumed that series would be wrapped up, packed up. They had a Janet Jackson concert scheduled. Had to move Janet Jackson shit, bro, just because they couldn't get the job done. So a lot of that I can see is, to me, from watching Boston, being a fan, is Boston plays down to their competition, plays to the level of whoever they're playing, and they don't always rise up to the biggest moments. But now let's look at the West. On who do y'all feel the most confident in coming out of the West and making it to the finals?
For me, making it to the finals, bro, you'll be foolish to bet against Jokic to at least make it to the finals. You don't even got to win the chip, but we've seen him and Murray be the best duo for 2 consecutive playoffs, I think now. Embarrass legends like Braun. Got Braun up out of there. That's and tell somebody. Come on, bro. Exactly. I think until somebody like I'll be willing. It's kind of Jokic is on almost the same level of Steph or Patrick Mahomes, where it's like, I'm not betting against him till somebody can prove they can beat him. So that's how I'm rocking. I like OKC team better. I like even Minnesota's team better theoretically. But I know you don't play games on paper. You play them on the court. And Jokic is 75-80% of the time in the playoffs the best player on the floor. And Jamal Murray is usually the third or second best player on the floor too, because he's never been even an all-star, I think. But he's a playoff killer. So it's not cool, it's not sexy, none of that. But man, give me Denver for sure.
Yeah, bro. No, I agree with you 100%. The only other team that I could even see coming out the West is either Denver or Dallas, just because Dallas has the firepower at the point guard and shooting guard position. But if I had to put money on it right now, I'm gonna bet it all on Denver.
Yeah, and kind of like you said, I like Denver, but for me, I have a little bit more confidence that Dallas is gonna make it to the finals this year. You look at what they've been able to do since the trade deadline. Of course, since they've had Luka, they've had an explosive offense, been able to put up points. But since the trade deadline and acquiring Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington, this Dallas team is seventh in defensive rating, seventh in defensive rebounding percentage, third in opponent field goal percentage, and first in opponent field goal percentage at the rim. So now Dallas has a legitimate defense with size to compete with a lot of teams in the West, as well as that offensive firepower generated by Luka and Kyrie. So I really think this might be the year that Luka makes that next step and gets to the finals, and maybe, like I said at the beginning, cements himself as the next face of the league.
That Luka Jokic team in 2030 gonna be nuts. It's gonna be so stupid. Like, bro, they gonna break the league for real.
Okay, so I 100% agree with all you. I think if you watch Denver, the area that I critiqued Boston, they have shined. They've been able to win ugly. They've been able to win shorthanded, bad leads, bad games by other players. Like a lot of times, Jokic and Murray will dead ass have no help some nights. I get that they have complementary pieces, but those are not superstars. If those guys, if the MPJs and the KCPs went other places, no one is counting on them to be 20 point per game and give them great offense. I think they fit perfectly within the scheme. I think the obvious choice is Denver, but I will say this. The NBA playoffs have shown us that the obvious choice is never what we think it is. I will be remiss if I didn't say this, but in the last 5 years, the finals champion has only made it out the second round one time, and that was the Warriors when they went back. So recent history has shown us that, just from purely analytic standpoint, maybe I don't agree with it from watching basketball, but history will tell us that in the last 4 years, the NBA champion hasn't made it out of the second round. So with that being said, I know y'all might laugh at this, but I do want to throw the Suns in there because it's always going to be a team that's at the bottom of the standings that's going to come out there and make some noise. Throughout the regular season matchups, Phoenix has had Denver's number, and these have not been close games. Denver gets on them early, they blow that lead, and then Phoenix starts to put it on them. I get that last year we have a playoff blueprint, but that's a different team. Phoenix is a completely different team. They have a better big. Ayton just didn't want to be there. So you have a team that played basically one player down. You had a whole, I think that Beal has come on. They've allowed him to kind of get out of that facilitator role. They've given him the ball more. So I feel like maybe I'm not greatly confident in it, but I feel like that team has just too much firepower to lay down and, oh, well, you do it, Book. You do it, KD. Like, look what we're looking at. This team has 3 of the best scorers in the league, and they have a guy who you don't know. If Grayson Allen starts dropping 30, who is going to beat them? Because you have 3 of the best players in offensive players in the league, and now you have a guy who you can't guard because he's making glitch corner threes. Who's going to send help to Grayson Allen? You can't, because you have generational scorers. So I think it would be lazy of me to say, oh, well, Phoenix, we've seen what they've done before. Look what they are now. Frank Vogel hasn't played great basketball. They've put it on Denver this season. I don't know if they swept the season series, but they won the last 2 games convincingly in Ball Arena. So I think if they beat Minnesota and they match up with Denver, history tells us that the NBA champion has struggled to make it out of the second round. And I think that team just has too much firepower to say, I think they're fitting into this dark horse role because of the 6th seed. But if they had handled business, couldn't they have been 3 or 4? If they had won some of those games that they needed to win, if they didn't let OKC bully them, if they didn't, make Bradley Beal Nash dribble around the court for 30 minutes and don't let him shoot the ball, really sit there and look at it, I think they should get a little bit of love. I'm not saying that I can see them in the finals, but with all that talent, they got to do something. And if they don't, they need to have that talk.
And they won 50 games this season. It's just like the gap between 1 and 8 it's not that big of a gap in the Western Conference. So it's literally like anybody could come out of there.
You talk about loaded rosters. OKC, both shot MVP candidate. New Orleans, Los Angeles, star power. Sacramento, Golden State, star power. Denver, Jokic. Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, Cat, Gobert, Phoenix. We just named the stars. The Clippers, Kawhi, PG, Harden. Dallas, Luka, and Kyrie. There are stars everywhere in the West. So to your point, Vance, that gap isn't very big. So they're gonna have to come out and they're gonna really have to hoop every night.
It's gonna be a random ass game where the Suns are down by like 25 going into the 4th quarter. Isaiah Thomas has a 20-point quarter, get him back in, bro. Watch, I'm telling you.
Hey, and
You gonna
Isaiah
forget what
Thomas
year it is?
comeback would be
2015.
crazy. Isaiah Thomas comeback would be crazy.
Bobo finna get 20 and 10 every game.
Hey, Bobo turning to Wimpy would be crazy. Hey,
That
Shaq,
would be crazy.
Hey, I'm not
Shaq
gonna lie,
would-
bro. Shaq would have to change his pants, bro.
Yeah, he'd be pitching a tent on live TV.
That's the end of another episode of No Cap Sports. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. NBA playoffs here. So are we, man. But right now, that's the episode, and we out of here, man.